is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here, bringing their Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile you all voted for, and here I am bringing it to you. Here is True Draco. Now, it is the spooky season, it is Halloween, and for Halloween I am trying to do as spooky of decks as I realistically can. Our last video was Evil Twin Live Twin, which is a little bit spooky, I know, a little bit scary. The Fiendsmith cards made an appearance. Now, this deck is spooky in a different reason. If you're the opponent sitting across from this deck, you're scared to death, because this deck is really unfortunate to have to play against. Here is True Draco. This deck is a little bit old, and it has been around for a while. It even still has limits on the ban list to this day, including Masterpiece and Draconic Diagram. But this deck is quite competent. It has a really good strategy behind it, although it might not be the most fun strategy. But it revolves around controlling the game state with the True Dracos, which are tribute monsters, and our continuous True Draco spells and traps, which do stuff when sent to graveyard, and allows us to tribute summon our True Dracos by tributing our spells and traps, allowing us to just gain extra advantage every action we produce. And then all the True Dracos, the moment our opponent does something, we get extra advantage. So this deck is very built up on advantage and just out-advantaging our opponent and kind of controlling the game state. And now what's the thing that we can pair with it in order to make it a little bit better at going second, because this deck kind of does blow at going second. I decided to pair up the Kashtiras because they don't actually negatively synergize with the True Dracos, or the True Draco Fighters, or the True Draco Warriors, or the True Draco Casters, whatever you want to call them. They don't really negatively synergize with them in the slightest. In fact, we even have a searchable continuous spell in order to just continuously bring back these assholes, I'm gonna say it, they're assholes, as well as another field spell that we can grab off of set rotation. But I'm gonna stop yapping now and let's get to the profile. Starting off the list, we're on triple Ignis Heat, the True Draco Warrior. It's a level 5 Fire Worm. To tribute some of this card face up, you can tribute a continuous spell or trap you control instead of a monster. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect where you control this tribute summon monster, quick effect, you can take one True Draco or True King continuous spell from your deck and either activate it or add it to your hand. Now, that activation is going to be pretty much relevant for the next card as well, and a lot more relevant for the next card, might I say. But adding a spell, basically, whenever our opponent activates anything at all, is incredible. We're on 2 Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Fighter. We're on 3 Dynamite Knight. Sorry, I forgot this card is now fully unlimited. To tribute some of this card, you tribute a continuous spell or trap. All these are going to say it. I'm not going to mention it on the last one. Instead of a monster, once per turn, your opponent activates a card or effect. While you control this tribute summon card, you can take a True Draco trap and just activate it or add it to hand. Really good. Once we get to them, you'll see how valuable that is. And then Majesty Maiden is the exact same, except for our True Draco or True King cards, except it will only add them to hand and won't summon them, unfortunately. Oh no. It's good that it doesn't summon it because we don't want it to, because they do nothing if we just summon it off of that, so we're completely fine with that. But that's all of our True Draco monsters. Now let's get into our True Draco spells and traps. We're on triple True Draco Heritage. During our main phase, we can draw cards equal to the number of True Dracos and True King cards, monster spells, and traps sent from the field to the graveyard this turn. During our main phase, we can immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon 1 True Draco or True King monster face up. If this card is sent from the spell or trap zone to the graveyard, you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. This card is incredible because it gives us an additional tribute summoning, allowing us to get 2 of these assholes on field at one time, which is incredible. We're on 2 copies of Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix. Oh, also it lets us get card advantage. Forgot about that. We're on 3 copies of Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix. You can target 3 True Dracos and True King cards in your graveyard, including the spells and traps, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 1 card. During our main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon 1 True Draco or True King monster face up, and then this has the same effect as the other one. If it's sent from the field to the graveyard, we are able to pop a card on field, specifically a back row card. This card is also really good. The Mini Pot of Avarice is really undervalued, I think, on a first look. But as you're playing, it makes your opponent feel like they're in an unwinnable game because you're always recycling your resources and just getting them right back, which is really unfortunate if you're the opponent facing down this strategy. We're on 1 Draconic Diagram. This is the field spell, still at 1. All True Dracos and True Kings gain 300 and 300. The first time each tributed summoned True Draco or True King would be destroyed by battle. It is not. Once per turn, you can destroy 1 other card you control in your hand or on the field, and if you do, add 1 True Draco or True King card from your deck to your hand. This is what allows us to grab these so easily, and is another way we're able to trigger the on-field send to graveyard effect, which is great. We're on triple copies of True Draco Apocalypse. If this card is sent from the spell or trap zone to the graveyard, it can target a monster on the field and destroy it. The other trap is going to have that same effect on it. You can activate the following effects of True Draco Apocalypse in the same chain. You can target one other True Draco or True King card you control, destroy it, and if you do, the attack and defense of all face-up monsters your opponent controls become half their current attack, even if this card leaves the field. That is a permanent change in attack and defense, so basically making it, if you activate it, they're not running over your monsters that turn, at least with the monsters they currently got. And during your opponent's main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, tribute summon one True Draco or True King monster and face up. Attack or defense, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's just attack since you tribute summoning. I don't know. I kind of misread into that a little bit. But this card is also really powerful. This is probably one of the main cards you want to be grabbing with Dynamite Knight, although the other one is also pretty much just as good. We're on the other one. 3 copies of True King's Return. If this card sent from the spell or trap zone to the graveyard, pop a monster on field. You know the drill. You can target one True Draco or True King card in your graveyard, special summon it in defense. If for the rest of the turn you cannot special summon, period. And then during your opponent's main phase, you get to immediately tribute summon. Really good effect. I don't think I really need to go too much more in depth. You can kind of see how all these cards will form a recursive loop where they're getting searched, they're getting tributed to pop, or they're just getting popped in general by their own effect, like True Draco Apocalypse will pop other of the cards, sending them to graveyard and triggering multiple effects. And then you get more advantage, and then once you want them back, you can just recycle them back into deck. So really cool recursive loop here. But the main issue with this is it kind of sucks going second. So in order to mitigate that, I did include the Kashtira engine. So we are on double copies of Pressure Planet Raceout, which will just add a Kashtira. Plus it'll buff all our monsters based on the attributes on field, and all the Dracos will have a different attribute. So pretty good there. We're on 1 copy of Kashtira Birth. This is our other search target for Unicorn, and 1 copy of Theosis, which is our primary search target with Unicorn. And then speaking of, we're on triple copies of Kashtira Unicorn and double copies of Fenrir, Unicorn being able to add a spell trap, and then Fenrir being able to add a monster. The monster is a little bit less relevant, but the spell trap is really good because we can go Unicorn to grab Theosis, Theosis to then grab Fenrir, and then Fenrir to grab either another Fenrir or another Unicorn, which is really cool because that means we have 2 Kashtiras, which is 2 more pieces of interaction our opponent has to chew through if we're going first, or if we're going second, these are 2 monsters that will immediately contest our opponent's board. For our non-engine, we are on 1 copy of Card Demise, 1 copy of Set Rotation in order to set our either Pressure Planet Raceoath or a Dragonic Diagram, or our next card being Chicken Game, which is a really good card that was used in True Draco prior. And then 1 copy of Terraforming to find any one of those 3 aforementioned cards. We're on triple copies of Time Tearing Morganite, allowing us to keep out advantaging our opponent every single turn, and also gives us an additional tribute summon. And then for our Floodgate, we're only on 1 in the main deck, 1 Tikaboo, and then 2 copies of Solid Judgment. Now, I typically don't really include side decks for these deck profiles because I say side decks are pretty dependent on your local metagame. Although I did just want to mention this. This Kashtira version of the deck does a lot better when the Kashtiras are a lot better when they're going second, but we are on 9 total Kashtira cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we do have a set of 9 cards we can side out for when we're going first. So we're on triple copies of the Monarch's Erupt. If we control a tribute summon monster, only those monsters are able to activate their effects on field. All other monsters have their effects negated, which is really good. You know, I don't really have to tell you how good Skill Drain is because you can even see the other Skill Drain in here. We're on triple strike, 1 more Judgment, and then 1 Rivalry of Warlords. Now, it might seem a little bit weird having Rivalry and Tikaboo in this list, given they're all worms. However, with the Tikaboo, we only really need 1 True Draco on field to win, and that is Dynamite Knight, the True Draco fighter. And then Rivalry is pretty good if we stick with just the True Dracos because they're all worms, so we don't actually have to concern ourselves too much with that. But this deck is a little bit stun heavy, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately if you're a big fan of stun. But this is kind of what the deck is. There are a lot of different ways to be playing it. You can always take out all the Kashtira cards and put in cards like Pot of Duality, because we are only able to tribute summon, and this just allows us to dig through our deck to find more cards like our True Dracos if we're having issues finding those. But that's going to be about it for the deck profile. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to become a member, just like my one member at the moment, thank you, Ari. Please feel free to check out the end of the video. All my videos will have details about that at the very end. But that is about it for the video. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you all later. Bye-bye! Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanted to talk to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like yourself, I would highly recommend checking out our Discord server. Link is going to be in the description, as well as the QR code on screen. We do talk somewhat frequently about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the current meta, so I would really enjoy to see you there. As well as we do recently now have channel memberships available on our YouTube channel, where we have 3 different tiers. We have Super Supporter at $2 a month, where you get loyalty badges, emojis, guaranteed comment responses, a shout out at the end of every video, as well as access to the members only Discord channel, where you get early sneak peeks at future videos. There is the Giga Supporter at $5 a month, where you have early access to all new videos about a day or two before they go up, as well as all the previous offers. And for $15 a month, we do have our final tier, which is going to be Femboy Fanatic. You get a guaranteed customized video every single month, as well as 1 hour of my time. Could be for anything you'd like. You want a duel? Absolutely. You want me to help build a deck? Absolutely. You want to play some Helldivers? Sure. I'll do anything for an hour once a month. But supporting does help me out quite a lot, and it does help me produce all of these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye-bye.